moderate the police force. I do realize that they are doing their best they can, and a lot of the reasons that you guys exampled for us as the reason for the need of the curfew, Congressman Phil Andrews actually came to my school and spoke with us, and it was indeed the fact of incidents like the robbery, which adults were involved in. So my question is, how are you going to moderate the police force? And I know they're doing their best, but wouldn't putting the problem of them dealing with teens roaming around, trying to pick out exactly who's not going from school events, who doesn't have parent permission, who is not coming from the movies or whatnot, and trying to pick out who's actually indeed looking for trouble, wouldn't that take away from the effort they could put forth toward the actual crime going on? And if it does get passed, how are we going to make sure that they're not accidentally trying to get it, like picking on us or racial profiling us?
It is a good question. It's one of the things that makes us all think about what is the efficacy of doing this. But I will say that this is not #1 crime that the police are looking out for. They have other and more important things that they are going to be doing most of the time. So I don't view the police force as passing this law suddenly, spending all their time trying to figure out how old somebody is walking down the street. If they did that, they would miss a whole bunch of other more serious things that are going on. Plus, the police force is scattered all over Montgomery County. It's not like they're everywhere. I mean, this is meant to be, I'd say frankly, to be more reactive and responsive than anything else. We're going to have to trust, and the police of the county have a pretty good reputation for, you might call it moderation, I would call it proper behavior, and not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So I think that part of it is manageable. But the issue you raise is the issue that concerned me the most. You talk about following teens all over the place. It was that incident in Silver Spring when gang members did come in from the district in Prince George's County and did say that they came here because of the curfew in Prince George's and the district, and because when the police approached them, they scattered, texted each other, reconvened someplace else. The police then would approach them again, they would scatter, text each other, and reconvene someplace else. And these weren't good kids just out for a nice night. They were kids who were there for a fight, which ultimately produced a knife fight and a wounding. So what happened in Silver Spring that worried me was, A, people targeted Silver Spring because of lack of a curfew. They came there to fight, and they used tactics, frankly, which made the police unable to carry out their normal duties, which was to stay centered in the places in Silver Spring where they were patrolling, and they actually had to call in officers from outside Silver Spring in order to back up the police in Silver Spring, and then someplace else in Montgomery County didn't have the police force they should have had. Now, all that said, this hasn't happened again. It's happened one time. And we've got to weigh whether that was a one-time incident or whether this is really a serious threat. But I'm looking at this, and I have to ask myself, if this is a serious threat, is this a tool, is it a necessary tool or a useful tool to have to address that threat? Of course, it's really not going to make much difference. And I probably agree with a lot of you that if you're going to do something bad, you can do it anyway. If you're going to do something that's bad but not that bad, I was a kid, I remember what it was like. My parents would say you got to be home by 10 o'clock on a weekday night, midnight on a weekend, and I would say, why do you care? I can do anything before 12 that I'm going to do after 12. I mean, I know how that goes. I mean, we all know how that goes. So we've got to ask ourselves, whether this is really going to be effective. But you raise a good question. But I hope you understand how we have to look at it and think about the bigger picture. And I do think the Silver Spring thing is a lot more scary to me than the flash mob.
Mr. Andrews. It is an excellent question. Our police officers are among the best in the country, but I do think this proposal would put them in an extremely difficult position because what you noted are the many exceptions in the law that would result if a curfew were enforced in a lot of situations where the person is exempt from the curfew but has been stopped. It is hard to tell, certainly whether someone's 18 when it's dark out, and you have to then deal with the issue of how is the enforcement going to be done. It is not clear that a curfew would have had any impact on the Silver Spring incident, which resulted after gang members had come in about 10:30 in the evening, well before the curfew would have begun. And I think what we need are approaches that can address crime where it occurs, when it occurs, rather than a very broad brush that doesn't recognize, one, that 98% of young people are law-abiding and not causing trouble. And we have the resources, as we have already demonstrated in Silver Spring, to add police officers and make a difference that way.
Okay.